Hi guys, what I want to go over with you guys right now is just a little refresher on using some of the built-in classes that are always included in your setup. So the one we're going to take a look at the moment is going to be the math class. So if you happen to have your textbook with you, it's question 7 in chapter 4, I think is the one I'm kind of using as my reference. It might be a little different what I do. But if you want to be able to display the square root of a number, there's a way we can do that. And that's by using the square root function. To use that function, we got to call the math class dot square root and then the number that we want to use. In this case, we want to use the number 30. Now, that's going to give us this warning over here, and when we go to find out what that warning is this is just returning a value, but it doesn't really know what we want to do with that value. So for right now, we're just going to print that value out. So I'm just going to replace this with a print statement, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to cut and paste it. So when I go to run this, what you'll find is it'll tell me the square root of 30 is whatever. And this is taken care of because of this this math class that we're working with. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff in the math class. I'm just going to put a bunch of, I'm going to add a whole bunch here all in one shot. And hopefully it won't seem too weird. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at square root will give us a square root of 30. Sine will get us the sine of the number 100. Cosine will give us cosine of 100. Floor will give us the floor of this number. Now, if you're not sure what floor is the it'll round down, so it should give us an answer 47 here. Ceiling will round up. And round will just round by whatever the standard rounding rules are. So in this case, the ceiling and the round should be the same. When you see here that the sign is, I got to set the sign. That should say the max or the larger of k and 70. And this one should say the smaller of k and 70. Oops. Alright, so the larger of k and 70, now that's the character k. You have to remember that all your characters are stored as integers, so the character type is actually part of the integer structure. It's important that you use single quotes around it to identify that it's a character and not a number. You'll find when you print it out, when the result gets printed out, that the result will actually print out a number and not that particular letter. So I'll make a couple of changes here just so you can see what I mean. And then the last part is this random number. Well, the math library has this random feature which will give us a number between 0 and 1. Now if we multiply that number by 10, that'll give us a number between 0 and 10, and if we want the number to be a whole number, we need to round it. So that's where we get the rounding of the entire thing here. So the round part that comes here is because of that. So let's just run this and see what we get. Alright, so let's make this side a bit bigger. So our square root of 30, that's our square root number. The sine of 100 is whatever it is. The cosine of 100 is this. The floor of 47 is 47. The ceiling of 47.7 is 48. The round of 47.7 is also 48. The larger of k and 70 is 75. Now, ASCII 75 is the letter K, capital K at that. The smaller of K and 70 is 70, so that's the number itself. And a random number between 0 and 10 is 1. If I run this a few times, you see the random number is now 2, it's 1 again, it's 1 again, it's 0, it's 4, it's 8, it's 7, it's 4, it's 1, it's 2, it's 2, it's 7. I'm just going to kind of keep going now until I hit, there's a 9. I should hit 10 eventually. The problem with random numbers, you don't know what they're going to be. Da, 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 da. Anyway, I'm about to stop. It has come up on 10 before, so that will give you the basic idea of what's going on now. Let's just try something a little different here. So if I change this to be the letter B instead of K, and I go to run this, you'll see that my larger suddenly becomes 70 and my smaller becomes 66. That's because ASCII B's integer value is 66. So just to show you what's going on there. It's a strange question for the text to ask, but I just want to show what was going on here. And if we picked a different square root for the first number, so let's pick something we actually know has a solid square root, like 25. So you'll notice the answer is 5. Now, technically the answer is 5.0. So what that really means is that the answer that comes back is a double. But the main gist of what we were doing here was to just make sure you were getting a good handle on how we kind of incorporate this. For us to use this class, we have to type the class name, which would be math dot, and then square root. We use this all the time. That's how our system class works as well. So if we're using our output functions, our system.out, it's the same sort of thing. This is a predefined class that's automatically included in all Java programs, and that's how it's used. You've already seen how the import part works. So that's really about it for this particular one. I'm going to do up another example for you guys now in a minute to go through some of the inheritance, not inheritance, some of the constructor stuff, and we'll do a little bit with overloading on that. So anyway, look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now.